few wonky takeoffs. Did not know if it was from replacing the string or from crosswinds that I had. I'm pretty sure it was crosswinds, but we'll find out here and see how this goes. Roll on throttle. Hands up. Oh, much better, much better. I like those takeoffs. Nice and smooth. Everything is right with the wing. Look at this beautiful sunrise. Trying to get off before sunrise, but it's taking me a bit longer to set up in the cold. Nice flight. Actually, this temperature inversion is pretty wild. I saw it checking the winds aloft. It showed about 58 degrees when I was taking off, which was false because it was really 47 degrees. So about 11 degrees off. But now that I am at 430 feet, it is so much warmer. And it was saying by 500 feet, I'd be close to 70 degrees. And it is definitely that. So I'm hoping this will be an awesome flight. We'll see how it goes. Keep my head on a swivel because there are other airplanes, although I got this Gaggle thing that is supposed to show me other airplanes. It actually says one is in the area. I don't see any, but it may be outside of the viewing spot in this area, which is perfectly fine with me. But around Shelby, there's always a lot of traffic. That's why I like flying in the mornings better. In the evenings, it's awful. You may have 4 or 5 planes in the pattern, as you probably saw in my last 2 videos. It was pretty busy both those times.
Hey guys, Bob from the future here. This area I'm coming up to is Caroleen. It's a little air park in Caroleen, North Carolina. And it's taken me a little over a half hour to get here. And this whole flight ended up being an hour and a half, just under an hour and a half. It was really an amazing flight. I really enjoyed myself, and I told myself when I took off if I had some good air that I would try and make a longer flight, because the last couple have just been, less than 30 minutes, fairly quick flights and stuff. So I really felt good being in the air, and I wanted to stay up there as long as I could. And I had gone a little ways away from the airport, so it was really fun. You'll see it coming back up here. I'll zoom in on the airport. I actually called the owner of this air park and asked him if it was okay to land there, and he said yes, absolutely, you can land there anytime. He wanted me to be careful of some trees, so I'll point those out here on the sort of the southwest side of the runway. As I zoom in here, you could really see them on one side, and they are pretty tall. So, and with the winds the way they were today, this was, like I said, this was taking me a long time to get out here. So I was only going 12 to 16 miles an hour, which is why it took so long to get out here. Like I said, about 40 minutes. So I didn't want to risk going low. I thought about doing a flyby. I did drop down a couple hundred feet, but then I just decided I'm not going to land. But this was still part of my cross country, and then this, I turn around here when I get over here, and I really was going fast back. Probably the fastest I'd ever been. I was going, I think my top speed, I'll have to look at it at Gaggle here, which is something else we'll talk about. But it was either 45 or 46 miles an hour. So for me, it was pretty exciting. The ground was just going underneath me pretty fast. And I got back to the area of the airport within like 10-15 minutes. So that was a really fun part of my flight. I really enjoyed it. Alright guys, so while I'm speeding back, I will talk about Gaggle a little bit. So Gaggle is a fairly new flight app that's out there. I don't know exactly how long it's been out there, but I've been using it in the last couple of flights, just checking it out in conjunction with Fly Sky High. Fly Sky High is an app I've used almost since I started flying, and I really like it. I like what I can see. I like how I can change it around. But a lot of friends were telling me about Gaggle, so I wanted to use it because I could see when they fly, which is one of the really fun things about it. Is, you know, you could scroll and see who in your area has been flying, and other friends can send you their flights and stuff like that, and it's pretty nice. So here's a summary of my flight from the last time that I used Gaggle, which is this flight that the video's on right now. So you can see my top speed was 46 miles an hour. My max height above the ground was 1,691 feet at an altitude of 2,526 feet. And I traveled 25 miles in the flight. It was about an hour. So it's not counting the time that I was actually on the ground with the motor running, which was actually like another 4/10 of an hour. And that's what I end up putting in my logbook, is whatever hours are on my meter for the motor. Alright, so this screenshot from Gaggle is actually what you see when you're flying and after you start recording, with some subtle differences. So the altitude bar at the cross, that is currently showing 673 feet MSL, or mean sea level altitude. When you take off, that will move over to the left, and on the right hand side, about the same size, will be your height above the ground altitude. So I really like having the option to see both of those. Then just below the altitude bar, you have your vertical climb rate or descent rate shown there, and that's kind of always nice to see. And then in the lower left of the map, you see your ground speed, and in the lower right, you'll see your wind speed, and there'll be a little windsock showing the direction the wind is coming from. And then in the middle, you have, if you use that function, it'll show you how much fuel you have left. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then right next to that is kind of a really neat function with Gaggle. It's showing you how many planes are in the area. Like right here, this is showing 8, but I'm not where I was flying at this. When I took this screenshot, I was actually closer to Charlotte Airport and stuff, so it's showing a lot more planes in the area. So one thing you'll notice here is it says I have 7.6 liters of fuel left, and that's a little more fuel than I actually have. Here's what I have. I would say this is about 6.8 liters. So I'll show you how Gaggle figures this out. You actually enter this in your settings. I have it burning more than it actually does. I have it showing 5 liters per hour in my settings. However, when calculated for this particular flight, I was actually burning about 4.3 liters per hour. Now, what it's not taking into effect, it is only counting your time between takeoff and between landing. So I'm on a fairly large airport, so I taxi from one end of the airport to the other, to the field where I take off, and then I taxi back in the evening. Plus I also had my warm-up time, so it's not taking all that into effect. So that's something I have to decide how to compensate for. I could either make the burn rate a little higher, or I can say I'm starting out with a few liters less than I actually am starting out with, and it'll be a little closer. I would rather end with it saying I have a little bit less fuel than I do than giving me hopes that I have more fuel than I do. I would rather land a little earlier and find out, oh, I had 3 more liters, I could have kept going, but I would rather land like that than to run out while I'm in the air. Alright guys, let's get ready to bring this in for a landing. And just touching on Gaggle some more, I will say I really like the app. I'm still getting used to it because I'm used to another app, but I really think I'm probably going to stick with it. The service, and if you have a question, the co-founders have been great at answering questions and stuff, so I really think I will end up paying for the subscription for it and using this app. I really like it so far. And I'll put a link into their website below if you have any questions about it, or feel free to reach out to me in the comments and ask me any questions, and I'll do my best to answer those as well, and do what I can. But I hope you enjoyed the flight. We'll finish out here with the landing. Thanks for watching. Sorry this is a little bit longer video than most, but it was quite a bit longer flight than most of my normal flights, and I did want to get that information in about Gaggle too, because I'm enjoying the app. This was the first time I used it solely for this flight, and I really liked it. So thanks again guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the landing.
Shelby Travis 764 Spirit X-ray is 12 miles, 12 miles, 2G north east at 3,000, climbing 3,500, Shelby. Shelby traffic, Cessna 1089, drop to departing runway 23, stay in the pattern. Shelby. Shelby traffic, 3,000 feet in, low. Hey gentlemen, stay north of Moss Lake,